When I was 18, my younger brother blamed me for something he did, and my parents threw me out without asking a single question. I spent the night at a bus station. A month later, at a family barbecue, he joked about it, right as my grandfather walked up behind him, holding the security footage. I was 18 when my parents showed me exactly what I meant to them. Nothing. My younger brother, Jake, was 16 and the undisputed golden child. He could do no wrong. I was just the quiet older brother who worked 2 jobs and stayed out of the way. The incident happened on a Friday night. My dad had a restored classic Mustang in the garage, his absolute pride and joy. I went to bed early after a brutal warehouse shift. At 3 in the morning, my bedroom door flew open. The blinding overhead light flicked on. Before my eyes could adjust, rough hands grabbed my shirt and dragged me out of bed. It was my dad, his face purple with pure, terrifying rage. My mom stood in the doorway, sobbing uncontrollably. "Where is it?" My dad screamed, shaking me violently. I was completely disoriented, my heart hammering in my chest. "Where is what?" "Don't lie to me. You crashed it. You ruined my car." I stumbled into the hallway and looked down the stairs. Jake was sitting on the living room couch, clutching a bloody rag to his forehead, fake sobbing. Jake told them I sneaked out, got drunk, took the Mustang, and forced him to ride shotgun. He claimed I lost control, hit a street lamp, and made him run back home with me. I was asleep, I pleaded, my voice cracking. "Dad, feel my car's hood. Check my breath." "I didn't do this!" But Jake pointed to my nightstand. Sitting right next to my alarm clock were the bent, twisted keys to the Mustang. Jake had planted them while I slept. They didn't ask a single question. My dad threw a duffel bag at my chest. "Get out! Now! You are no longer my son!" I begged, I cried. My mom wouldn't even look at me. 10 minutes later, I was standing on the curb in the freezing rain. I had $30 to my name and nowhere to go. I spent that night shivering on a metal bench at the downtown bus station. I clutched my bag to my chest so it wouldn't get stolen. I had never felt so entirely alone. My grandfather found out a few days later and drove across town to take me in. He was a retired military man, quiet, observant, and fiercely fair. He listened to my story, nodded once, and said nothing else. A month went by. My parents didn't call once. Then came the annual family barbecue, hosted at my grandfather's large property. I didn't want to go downstairs, but Grandpa insisted. My parents froze when they saw me by the grill. Jake just smirked, leaning against the patio railing with his bandaged head, playing the brave victim for our extended family. I kept my distance, sipping a soda, watching from the edge. Jake was holding court with our older cousins. He was getting arrogant. "Honestly," Jake laughed, his voice carrying over the music. "It was almost too easy." He was snoring like a bear. I tossed the keys on his table and they bought it hook, line, and sinker. "Good riddance." He actually chuckled. He was so busy bragging he didn't hear the screen door open. He didn't see my grandfather walk out holding a large iPad. Grandpa stopped right behind Jake. The patio went dead silent. The music faded away. Jake finally noticed the silence, turned around, and went entirely pale. Grandpa didn't yell, he just tapped the screen. The volume was turned all the way up. It was a security video from my neighbor's camera across the street. The video showed Jake sneaking out alone at 2 in the morning. It showed him struggling to start the Mustang, peeling out solo. Then he limped back alone an hour later, bleeding, clutching the keys. Grandpa had gone door to door until he found a camera facing our garage. My dad dropped his beer. The glass shattered on the concrete. "You are a disgrace," Grandpa said to Jake, his voice colder than ice. He turned his sharp gaze to my parents. "And you two are worse. You threw your own flesh and blood to the streets without a second thought because you were too stupid to look at the truth." My dad took a step toward me, crying. "Son, I am so sorry." "Don't," I said. My voice was calm, steady. I looked at Jake, who was shrinking away from the furious stares of our entire family. "You got exactly what you wanted, Jake," I said, walking past my shattered parents. "They are all yours." I walked out the front gate and never looked back.